Hey, what is going on, everyone? It's me, Mr. Mario, and yes, I'm bringing you another Torchlight 2 commentary now. Torchlight 2, it's available on PC, it's $20, you can pick it up on Steam, and it's a dungeon crawler, and to me, it's really what Diablo 3 should have been. It's a great game, no always online DRM, and it's only 20 bucks. The first Torchlight's also available. It's really not nearly as good as this one. You don't need to play it to get this one. And it's also available on Xbox. On PC, well, PS3, I'm not sure. I haven't looked it up, but, I mean, it is what it is. So, I wanted to do this video because I normally don't say stuff like this, okay? I normally don't tell people, but this is my reasoning for it. Today's my birthday. I'm 20 years old now. Yes, I'm an old fag, I guess you can say. There's going to be two groups of people. There's going to be the people who are shocked, and there's going to be the people, well, shocked at how old I am. There's going to be the people who are shocked at how young I am. But that's really it. I really don't do much for my birthday. I really don't celebrate. I don't do anything like that. Today I'm actually going to be doing stuff. I'm going to a concert and all that. So in a few hours I'll be seeing Flux Pavilion, which will be cool. But this is like the first time in years I'm doing anything. But I was thinking about this. I woke up, I'm 20 now, and I wanted to use my channel as a tool for something good. And that's already what I do. I do entertaining things, I do helpful things, that's why I do tutorials, that's why I started out on here, but I wanted to see if I could use my channel for any sort of good, and see if I could help out anyone. If I can help out one person, I mean, that's great for me, so. This is a quick collection that I wrote up within about 5 minutes of things I've learned in my 20 years on Earth that I wanted to share with you all. So without further ado, here is my adult life pro tips. Or at least, I don't know, because I'm an adult now. I guess it's for teenagers and anybody below. Let's get started. So first off, karma exists. If you don't know what karma is, it means what goes around comes around. It means if you treat someone terribly, you're gonna get the payback for that somehow. And it could be anything from your dog dying to a friend betraying you, anything like that. If you put good into this world, good stuff is going to happen to you. And there's going to be people who don't believe it, and there's going to be people, you know, who say, oh, what is this religious stuff you're trying to dump on me, Mario? And it's nothing religious. It really isn't. And this is just, even if you don't believe in karma, it's just a life value you should do. If you want to be treated with respect, treat others with respect. If you want to be treated like shit, which I don't know why you would, go ahead and do that to others. Just be the biggest dick you can. Because it's all going to come back to you, and I've seen it happen with so many people. I've seen one of the best examples I can say, and I'm not going to go into huge detail because this could be a whole big commentary, but I have seen a person be so successful for so many years. I'm talking like at least a decade, maybe even 2 decades, just be really successful with everything. And they mistreated, you know, the people they were around. Nothing like they didn't beat anyone, but they mistreated the people they were around. They treated them like shit. Their own family members, they were dirty too. And within a few months' time, everything came tumbling down. They lost everything. And to me, that is a huge buildup of negative karma. That's how I looked at it. Second part that kind of goes into all this, don't flaunt. If something good happens to you, I mean, yeah, you could say it, but I'm saying don't try and fish out for things. Like, for example, if you're meeting the president, don't be all like, oh, you know what's a good example of this? If anybody watches Big Bang Theory, that one episode of the Big Bang Theory where Howard comes back from being in space, and every single time anybody says something, he tries to mention it. Like, somebody talks about, like, Portal, and he's like, oh, Portal, that takes place in space. You know what? Hey, guys, guess who was in space? Or, like, the moon. Hey, the moon looks really nice, but you know what? I actually saw the moon really close because I was in space. Don't flaunt like that. Nobody likes it. People get tired of it. If you're excited about something, I mean, you could tell people, but there's a difference between telling and informing and flaunting. Be who you are. Don't pretend to be something or somebody that you're not. If you don't like sports, don't try and be, you know, I don't even know that much about sports, if you can tell. Just from the way this is going. But if you don't like sports, if you don't like football, don't try and be an awesome football player. Don't pretend you know all of this stuff about football. Don't try and be a master of it. If you're becoming interested in the sport, there's a difference. If you don't know that much about computers, but you're trying to show out and be like, oh yeah, I know how to reformat an operating system, and you can barely do that, and you don't know what the difference between a solid state drive and a hard drive is, just don't. Go and learn, but if it's something also that doesn't interest you, get out of it. Just pull out. Don't hurt your friends. This is something I can definitely say. To my knowledge, I don't know, I've probably hurt a few people along the way, as everyone has, but I think I've had more experiences with people hurting me than me hurting people, which I guess that's a good ratio. I don't like hurting people, but if I get hurt, it's like, whatever. I don't know, that's how I am at least. I knew this one dude. I don't even know why I was friends with him for so long. But he was one of those people, the closer you were with him, the worse he treated you. He would make you feel small. He would make you feel like you were worthless. He would try and manipulate you. And it wasn't just me. It was like everybody he was with. If you were a complete stranger, he was such a nice dude. If you were his best friend, he was abusive to you. He would treat you like shit. And it was more, I mean, when I say abuse, I don't want to say, you know, like physical abuse, like he was beating you up or anything, because he didn't do that. It was more like, to put it another way, mind-fucking you, almost. And I'm being explicit on this commentary, but this is the only way I can really explain it. Seek help if needed. And to link up with this, I'm going to combine two things into one. Learn to self-medicate. Humans are social creatures. Unless you have an issue, there are people who just can't be social, and nothing can be changed about that. But if you need help with something, if you're going through a hard time, go to a counselor. If you're having, I don't know, issues with grades, anything like that, talk to your teachers. If you're having issues with family members, speak to your family members about it. Talk to other family members about it. Try and get this sorted. But at the same time, learn to self-medicate, because you have to realize in this world, there's going to be times where you're going to be alone. There's no one there who's going to help you. You're not going to have anyone in town who could help you out if your tire goes flat. You're not going to have, you know, your mom yelling at you to wake up when you won't get out of bed. You won't have anybody motivating you to go to work sometimes. So you need to learn how to self-medicate at the same time and to be independent on your own. Learn to cook. Learn to cook. I don't care if you're a guy or a girl. Learn to cook. It will really help you out. Use protection. I don't need to say much here. Just use it. Just use it. Don't be a fool. Wrap your tool. Let's go on to the next part. Be there to help out with people, but don't be the person who's doing chores. If somebody needs help, if somebody really needs help with something, they're an honest person, you know, be there to help them. If they're a really good friend and you have to go a bit out of your ways, but it's not interfering with anything big, go ahead and do it. And it's almost one of those things, to me, it's like karma. When I'm doing something, I expect something good in return, but don't be all like, oh, I'm doing this for you, but you totally owe me. No, no. If somebody keeps asking you for help, like I'm talking like they feel comfortable with you, they keep going to you, they keep going to you for even little minuscule things, it might just be time to drop them. That's about it. But what I was saying, you know, when you want to be there to help people but not do their chores, with the second part there, if you have good friends who you're asking for help, that's fine. If you have a good friend who's asking you for help, that's cool. But if you have that guy who you don't remember the last time you hung out with them, and they only really call you if, you know, they have an issue with their phone, they have an issue with their car, but they'll go months without talking to you, no, you don't need to do anything. You don't. Because they haven't done anything for you. Realize what too far is. And this is anything. From, you know, being in a relationship to just being friends with someone to talking with a stranger. I feel like, I don't know, like one example that just came to mind is if anybody's seen the movie Funny People, that one scene where Adam Sandler, I don't remember his name in the movie, but Adam Sandler is there, and he plays a Jewish guy in there, and he himself is Jewish, but he's talking to this one girl who's pretty cute, and she's Jewish, and she's all like, you know, I've never been on a date like this before. You know, I normally use JDate. Oh, really? What's JDate? Oh, well, it's a site that's only for Jews, and then you get on a list with other people, and you see, you know, who you're compatible with and all that. And Adam Sandler, he's just like, oh, well, I didn't think Jews like to be on lists. And then she just like stares at him, and he's like, you know, because of the Holocaust. And I'm sorry that this offends anyone. I really am. But, like, this is the example that comes to mind. She's just looking at him like, I can't believe you said that. And this is one of those times you have to realize when too far is. And this was just in a fictional movie, you know, just right there. But awkward moments happen like that every second all around the world. Just realize what too far is. Just realize it. And this is one of those things almost, sometimes you have to go through the troubleshooting process in order to, you know, find what the issue is. Be smart with social media, you guys. People can find me. I have no issue with that. People can find me, but what I put out on YouTube, I make sure I'm gonna stick to it to the death of me, you know? Me cussing in this commentary, I've already thought it through, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm okay with this. If somebody, you know, asks about it, if they're questioning me, I will explain it within the context. I even feel like within the context or even out of the context, it would be okay. Don't be posting up pictures of you getting high with your friends and getting drunk on Facebook if you're like 17 years old. Because that's going to come back later. I mean, can you believe that to flip burgers at McDonald's, of all places, is doing background checks on Facebooks? I know this because I know a friend who got hired at McDonald's, and she got the job, but they called her up and said, we don't really like the stuff you're putting on your Facebook. So, be careful with social media, you guys. Be careful. Because once that is out there, it's out there. It is out there. You can't erase it. You can't. Choose your friends wisely. And by that I mean, get friends who like you for who you are, not what you are or what you have. Sometimes you have to say no. And this was kind of me talking about, you know, being there to help people, but not to do chores. Sometimes you have to realize when you have something to do. Sometimes you just have to say no to that person who keeps bugging you about stuff, who's never done a damn thing for you. You're not invincible. As much as you like to think you are, you're not. One day you could be feeling tip-top, and the next day you could be hit by a car. You could eat healthy all your life, and the next day you slip and you fall, I don't know, off a bridge, and you're paralyzed. You're not invincible. That's just it. Be careful. It isn't all about you. That's another thing I have to say. Nobody likes a person who's arrogant, who tries to bring all the attention to themselves. I mean, that's it. Nobody does that. Nobody likes a show-off. It's not all about you. You have to think of other people. You have to keep other people in mind. Ask about them. Don't keep the whole thing situated on yourself. And finally, get used to being uncomfortable. And by that I mean, don't put yourself out in like a rape situation. No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying there are times in life where you're going to have to try new things. You're going to have to try scary things. And they might be the best things that you've done. One good example of this, earlier this week, on Monday, I was invited to a concert, just like a little small get-together concert, by a friend of mine. I had not seen this person in a while, and she was saying, you know, there were going to be some other people there. I did not know that much about the music. I didn't know who was going to be there. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if it was going to be awkward from, you know, a while of not talking and hanging out, or what. I was nervous, and I'm rarely nervous, but I was nervous. And there were a few times I almost doubted going, but I said, you know what, no, I'm feeling really uncomfortable, but this is something I want to do. And also, I kind of told myself I want to go to more concerts, so I went. And I can honestly say, I was kind of, that day I was kind of off. I don't want to go into detail about it, but that really made my week. That made my day. And something I was so nervous about, so uncomfortable doing, hours beforehand. It made my day. It made my week. It really did. It brightened me up. And that's why I say get used to being uncomfortable, because sometimes you're going to have to be put in those uncomfortable positions, and at the end, you might hate it. But at the end, you also might learn something. You might feel better. So that's it for this commentary. I went over my mark by a few minutes, but you know, it's all stuff I wanted to say, and I really hope this helped out a few people. But this is Mr. Mario, signing off. Thank you for watching, everyone.